So we're here today in Hi-Spec Machinery, and I'm here with Owen Keane. And so Owen, you might just give us a quick run through on the business here.
Yeah, okay. Hi-Spec, I suppose, is a family-run business that was founded over 25 years ago. Our primary product would be slurry tankers, and I suppose slurry tankers make up about 80% of our business. We would manufacture 3 to 4 machines per day, and we would export mainly to England, New Zealand, Iceland, Denmark, France, those kind of countries. So today I suppose we're going to talk about slurry tankers, and this particular one behind us is fitted with a flow meter and a Mastech dribble bar on it. So with our slurry tankers, the capacity range from 800 gallons up to a triple axle 5,000 gallons. And we have a lot of different variations in those sizes. Our main size in Ireland would be a 2,600 gallon recessed with large 800 wheels. So I suppose we can move over closer to the tanker now to get a bit more detail on them as we go through them. Okay, so what we have here would be our best-selling tank in Ireland. It's a 2,600 gallon with a Mastech 7.5 dribble bar on the rear. Now, all of our tankers are made from 6mm British steel, and they're on a full-length chassis. So the chassis is the full length of the tanker, allowing the weight to be distributed evenly towards the axle. Our 2.6 here with an SAR, the SA is standing for single axle and the R is standing for recessed. So these are recessed on a large 800 30.5 Alliance tyre. It's a high grade 181 tyre, which means that it can carry over 8 tonne at 40 kilometers per hour. And we are supplying that on a straight commercial axle. So it's a large commercial axle on that as well, with the large brake shoes, the 420s by 180. So all of our tankers are actually hand welded here in the factory. So every day we are maybe making about 3 or 4 tanks very similar to this. And I suppose the standard spec that you will get with a Hi-Spec SAR would be a swivel hitch, an 11,000 litre pump, the side tube as well, a couple of fill points and lights on the rear. This tanker as well is fitted with the Mastech 7.5 metre dribble bar. And we're seeing huge uptakes in the dribble bar with the Grant. We also have our own trailing shoe, but I suppose in terms of popularity, the Mastech 7.5, it's very hard to beat. So that's dribble bar is sitting on the back door, and it is spanning a width of 7.5 metres. So it has the Mastech chopper, which is made in Ireland, Coot Hill in Cavan, and it's suited for Irish conditions due to the serrated blade. It's able to handle large lumps of fibre or silage, or lumps of silage. So this dribble bar as well, it's spring-loaded arms as well. It covers the ground very well. Very lightweight on the back of the tanker. There's no additional brackets required, so it really does suit conditions here. Now, coming back to the front of the tanker as well, we can see that we have an 11,000 litre pump as well. This is made by Europe in Italy. We've been using this pump in excess of 20 years. It is bulletproof. There's only about 4 veins in the pump, so very little maintenance and very little to go wrong. The offset is a little bit louder than other competitors' pumps, but we can fit those with exhausts as well, just to dampen down the sound on that. Another extra that you see here is this side tube. This is selling really on every tanker that's fitted with a dribble bar or a trailing shoe. It allows you to see the level of liquid inside the tank as you're travelling up and down the field, and the farmer can see exactly how much is left in the tank. It also helps with filling as well, that they can see how quickly the tank is filling and what size load is actually in the tanker. So I'll just go back towards the tyres here as well, because they would be a big feature on a SAR tanker. So these are our large 30.5 tyres. It's an Alliance brand, which will be seen as a very top of the range brand as well on it. And the load index on this is a 181A8. So it's the high grade Alliance tyre with the stronger sidewalls, and it allows this tyre to carry more weight than competitors' models as well. With the axle as well and the tyres, we're also using a straight axle on this as well to keep the height down. We have lowered the chassis. So in line with the straight axle, we have actually reduced the depth of the chassis here as well over previous models, and that keeps the rear of the tanker down to not to make them as top heavy. Is that okay?
So on this tank here, it's fitted with a 7.5 metre mastic dribble bar, and I see it also has a Krone flow meter installed from Muller. So this flow meter was obviously installed during manufacturing the tank, and they can also be retrofitted onto tanks. Would you see much of an uptake on the flow meters? Yeah,
now this one we have installed in the factory, but we have also left tanks suitable from new as well with the pipework, where they have installed in the Krone flow meter in England as well, and other countries where they're actually going to add the dribble bar and the flow meter in the dealer's premises as well. So here we're just fitting this Krone meter on the top of the tanker. Some of the other previous ones we have done, it's in at the back of the dished ends where it's obviously protected, and the dribble bars are quite large that fold up the side. So we're seeing an uptake in these flow meters, usually with the larger dribble bars as well, where the farmer is more conscious of what he's actually putting out as well, and kind of where he's putting it out, and his flow meter then is able to respond to his inputs as well and give him any of the information that he needs.
So on this tanker here, it's Isobus compatible. So for the owner of this tank, are they able to control their dribble bar and control the workings of the tank through the Isobus screen in the tractor?
This particular tanker can be plugged into the rear of the tractor as well, and it's giving the farmer the information directly on his monitor as well. So everything on that tanker then can be controlled then through his Isobus screen.
Very good. So I suppose with the flow meter, he'll be able to record proof of placement. He'll be able to see what gallons of slurry are going out per acre, and he'll also be able to regulate that, and he can even upload prescription maps onto his system and spread a varied amount of slurry throughout different parts of the field. Yes,
everything will come back to his Isobus screen in the tractor as well, and we have a gate valve that's fitted on top as well that will regulate the flow of slurry according to what the flow meter is dictating. So the dribble bar then again and the flow meter are working together along with this gate valve on top that's going to open and close in order to suit the farmer's input.
And I suppose with regards to the mastic dribble bar, would you predominantly sell dribble bars, or would you sell
we predominantly sell
as well?
We predominantly sell with flow meters. Usually they are fitted to dribble bars. Most of the other flow meters that we have done are fitted to larger Vogelsang dribble bars, usually covering up to 20 to 24 meters as well. This is the smallest dribble bar we have fitted with a flow meter here for Mastec. But again, it's the same principle. The size of the dribble bar won't really matter. The Krone flow meter can work with them all, really.
Very good. And I see this tank here is painted in red.
Yes.
So you offer different colours of tankers.
We can do any colour really that you want. This tanker here behind us is actually a 3,000 gallon recess, which it's very popular in the UK, and that's actually where this tanker is heading towards. So the red stands out, I think, with a lot of tractors, but we can do a black or green or any colour really to suit.
Very good.
Okay, so what we have here is a tanker that's just about to be painted. So prior to painting, we were actually shot blasting the tankers just to give it a preparation then for the red paint finish. Shot blasting involves a kind of similar to sandblasting, except we're using small particles of metal. So we're firing those metal pieces under a high pressure nozzle at the steel in order to give it a good key then for the paint to stick to. So this shot blasting is just commenced immediately before painting, so that there's no dust or particles that will land or rest on the tank, and the shot blast then as well will give a great key for the paint to stick to. Okay, this is our final assembly area here at Hi-Spec Engineering. So after we've painted the machines, we're bringing them down to this assembly here to fit hydraulic hoses, trailing shoes or dribble bars or any optional extra included on the tanker. So down in this assembly here we would have a large tandem recess tanker as well. So it's going to take 4 days probably to finish this tank before it's ready for dispatch. What we have here is our own Hi-Spec 7.5 metre trailing shoe fitted to a 2,600 gallon tanker. Our own trailing shoe has been designed in-house here, I suppose built up from the experience we've had with competitors' trailing shoes and selling other brands. We've decided now to make it in-house and to sell it away ourselves. So the trailing shoe here is actually mounted to the chassis on these box irons. So these box irons are going into the chassis of the tank where there is additional reinforcement, and the trailing shoe weight then is sitting on those box irons. At the top, we just have a pin as well in order to tie the shoe. So it makes fitting and removal of the shoe actually very, very easy if required. Some other features that we have on the back of the shoe. As standard, we are now using a Mastech chopper as well. So we're fitting this Mastech chopper on all of our trailing shoes. Again, designed in Ireland, it's well suited for Irish conditions as well. So the serrated blades in the Mastech allows, farmers are very, very happy with those. On the top, we have our folding ends. So our folding ends are kind of offset parallel to each other. And the reason for this is that we also manufacture a 9-meter shoe where the lower and the top arm extend on, and we can supply a 9-meter shoe without any additional height and really very, very extra weight. So the 7.5 and the 9-meter shoe are made from the same frames and a lot of the same carcass. On the back, this is where we're actually fitting our splash plate and our fill points. So if a farmer requires splash plate, he doesn't need to adjust anything at the back of the shoe. He can splash plate or trailing shoe with it simply by just changing the spool at the front of the tanker. The trailing shoe is also fed from the side here as well, so it's quite low down in the tanker and allows the tanker to empty fully. So all of the slurry is coming out from the side of the manhole and into the top of the Mastech. Any stones or debris will fall directly into this sock here as well, where they're collected, and removal then is easy just with the hand valve on the back. On the trailing shoes, I suppose the big difference here with the shoes over the dribble bar is the pressure that the shoe will exert on the ground. So we have a high tensile leg here, and the coulter, I suppose, on the back, that's actually going to put pressure on the grass and create a channel for the slurry. So as the shoe is pressurized, there's always going to be about 6 to 8 kg pressure here on each leg, and that's going to part the grass, open up the soil, and allow the slurry then to be deposited through the rubber boot on the back as well. With regards blockages of the boots, there isn't really any blockages of boots. The holes on the Mastech chopper are smaller than the outlet, so once it's coming down the tube or the pipe as well, it's going to come out of the boot. Thicker slurries can take longer to empty because it's gravity fed really once it passes the chopper, so if it's a thicker liquid, it's going to take longer in order to reach the outside of the boot. But we would always recommend additional water with this, and there won't be problems after that.